How to create confidence. Life lessons from some awesome people, including Tony Robbins, Brene Brown, Oprah Winfrey, Jim Carrey, and Jim Rohn. Get ready to be inspired. But what is confidence? Well, it's a feeling. But what about the word itself, confidence? Well, it comes from a Latin word, confidere, which means intense trust. And what I'd love you to get out of this video, apart from learning from some incredible people who have hugely influenced my life, is for you to understand how you can build confidence and trust yourself. Let's start off by taking a look at Tony Robbins.
Every day of our lives, we live in a world that is incredibly complex. And you have to remember, we all have a 2-million-year-old brain. And it's not designed to make you happy, it's designed to make you survive. So it's always looking for what's wrong. So why would we allow this to be? Because it's just a bad habit. And so we need a daily practice. And so I want to show you how I do this for me, and I want you to create your own system based on it. This mind serves me. I don't negotiate with it. Remember I told you? I don't say, well, I'll do this. Well, maybe we could do it. Maybe we'll jump in the water now. It's like, it knows I'm not here to negotiate. When I say it, we do it. That's what we want to train ourselves to do today. Whenever you want to make a change or improve something, the first place you want to improve it is in your mental, emotional state. If you do something from a pissed off state, from an exhausted state, from a frustrated state, from a weak state, it won't matter what you do. The thoughts are weak when you're in a weak place. The actions are weak.
Tony Robbins, so inspirational. And there was so much in what he said. For me, it's absolutely essential for you to understand that we have a 2-million-year-old brain. Just like he said, we are wired up to survive. If you want to thrive, you've got to build the habits of success. I wrote an international best-selling book in 2003 called Habit Busting, because look, excellence isn't an act. Excellence is a habit. To build confidence in yourself, you've got to take responsibility for putting yourself in the right state and actually doing what you say you're going to do. Let's take a few moments to listen to Oprah Winfrey.
You do the right thing, even when other people think it may not be. And oftentimes, when you make a decision to do the right thing, immediately you're faced with doubt. Was that the right thing? Was that the right decision? I don't know. Was that the right thing? You always know it's the right thing, when in the end, there is peace. You are rewarded by peace in knowing that you did the right thing.
What a lot of people don't know about Oprah is she has exposed so many people in the personal development space sharing their wisdom. And I've learned so much from her. I used to watch her program back in the 90s, and there's so much truth in what she says. If you're going to do what you say you're going to do, you're going to have some doubts. You know, we call it the duck in our head, the part of us that wants to protect us, that wants us to survive. But the only way you're going to build confidence is to do the things that are often challenging, but you'll know it was the right thing to do, because afterwards, as she said, you will feel peace. You will feel satisfaction. You will feel fulfillment. Very, very, very powerful. Now let's take a few moments to listen to what Jim Rohn has to say about building confidence.
Self-confidence really comes from feeling good about yourself. And one of the best ways to feel good about yourself is at the end of the day to know that you poured it on. You did your best. If you conducted a meeting, you did the best you could. If you made a phone call, it was the best phone call you could possibly make. If you wrote a letter, it wasn't a casual letter, it was your best letter. At the end of those kind of days, when you feel good about yourself, self-confidence starts to rise. You know that if you can have this kind of a good day, you can have another one the next day, and those days become the weeks become the months, and the month becomes a powerful year. Self-confidence comes from the lack of neglect. If you will not neglect to do the small daily disciplines, that's where self-confidence comes from. Willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve. Some people say, well, I'll do it for a little while and see what happens. You know, I'll try a couple of things. If that doesn't work, I'm out of here. And all of us know that that kind of person doesn't have much of a future. but if you're willing to do whatever it takes. If I have to learn a couple of things, I will learn those things. If I got to learn 5 or 6 things, I'll learn all 6. If I have to take an extra class, I'll take an extra class. If I've got to read the books, I'll read the books. If I have to consult with people who know more than I know, I will do the necessary consulting. Whatever it takes, I will do. That starts to develop unbelievable self-confidence.
You gotta love Jim Rohn, right? Such an inspiring person. Even long after he's gone from this earth, he's inspiring people all over the world. He actually mentored Tony Robbins. Success always leaves clues. And such an important point for you every single day, at the end of the day, to say, you know what? I did my best. Human beings, we are not perfect. But if we decide to do our best, this is where we start to apply, as he says, the law of compounding, aggregating over time. Look, you might have heard of this before, but if I said, I'll give you £5 million in cash right now, or I'll give you 1p a day and I'll double it every single day for a month, which one would you want? Now, most people would say, give me the 5 million. However, if you did the maths, as Jim Rohn talks about, after a month, 31 days, you would have compounded so much that you would have close to $11 million. There is so much magic in the small things done over an extended period of time. So many wise words, but what about Jim Carrey? Now, most people think of Jim Carrey as a funny guy, but you know what? He's also a very wise guy. Let's take a few minutes to listen to what he says about building confidence.
And when I say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I really don't know if that's true. I'm just making a conscious choice to perceive challenges as something beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way. You'll come up with your own style. That's part of the fun. Oh, and why not take a chance on faith as well? Take a chance on faith. Not religion, but faith. Not hope, but faith. I don't believe in hope. Hope is a beggar. Hope walks through the fire and faith leaps over it.
How much wisdom can you take from Jim Carrey in your ability to create confidence? I absolutely love what he says about when you could look at your life and look at it from the point of view of this happened for me, not to me. Whether that's true or not, ultimately, that is up to us to decide. But if you want to build confidence in yourself, I think it's really important to look at the world through those types of eyes and build faith. Now, what is faith? Faith really is about knowing that if you do what you say you're going to do, it's going to move your life forwards. Such a simple thing to do, but such a simple thing not to do. I challenge you to have faith in what you're doing and where you're going. But last, but by no means least, let's take a few moments to listen to Brene Brown and what she feels it takes for you to be more confident.
I'm scared, a lot of self-doubt, comparison, anxiety, uncertainty. And so what do most people do when they're walking into the arena and those things are going to greet them up top? What do? You armor up, right? This is where I would imagine the old days that they got all their stuff on. But God, that stuff is heavy. And that stuff is suffocating. And the problem is when you armor up against vulnerability, you shut yourself off. And I've said this to audiences before, but I have never said it to an audience where it is more true than today, this second. When you armor up in this hallway, you shut yourself off from everything that you do and that you love. Because vulnerability is certainly a part of fear and self-doubt and grief and uncertainty and shame, but it's also the birthplace of these. It's the birthplace of love, of belonging, of joy, trust, empathy, creativity, and innovation. Without vulnerability, you cannot create. So what I think you're asked to do as a creative on a daily basis is walk through this hall, get to the top of the stairs, and get naked. Of course. Get naked. Get really real. Put yourself out there and walk out there so people can see you and see what you've made and see what you're doing.
Such a wise woman. When I read her book called Braving the Wilderness, it really gave me a different perspective around this whole thing about being vulnerable. Now, what does that really mean? It means being able to recognize if you want to show the world how great you are, if you want to show the world how innovative, how creative you are, how much joy you have to have in the world, then you have to do what she says, which is get naked. Is to show the world, this is me. And that requires a lot of confidence, because if that is what you're going to do, then the world is probably going to see that maybe you do have some insecurities, you do have some self-doubt, some limiting behaviors, some limiting habits. But it's only through showing the world this is who you are that the world is really going to show what you're really capable of doing. And ultimately, this is a choice. So what was your number one takeaway? You've heard from the awesome Tony Robbins, from Oprah Winfrey, from Jim Rohn to Jim Carrey to Brene Brown. Ultimately, we can all build confidence in ourselves. It definitely takes us to step out of perhaps where we're comfortable. But if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in improving your confidence, then check out the masterclass that we created. Just look at the links in this description. A great life, it doesn't happen by chance, it happens by design.